gone over it with Tony, and we told him, hey, you've had some injuries, and we think now's the time to start the journey in terms of getting a quarterback.
We wanted to pick a quarterback that we could rely on as the backup quarterback.
I met with them at the Senior Bowl briefly, met with them at the Combine. They worked me out. I never really had this true feeling that I was going to Dallas. It was almost like a too good to be true.
I actually felt like at the number 4 position that one of those top quarterbacks might fall to us between Goff and Wentz.
Stephen Jones was wrong. The Rams selected Jared Goff number 1 overall, and the Eagles took Carson Wentz at number 2, setting up the Cowboys to take running back Ezekiel Elliott at number 4.
We knew we weren't going to pick one there, but then Paxton Lynch was somebody we liked a lot.
There was a lot to like about Lynch. He was tall, had a strong arm, and some scouts projected him to go in the first round. The Cowboys, whose next pick wasn't until day 2, knew they would have to trade back into the first round to have a shot at him. What they didn't know was that the Broncos also had their eyes on the Memphis Star and were seeking to trade up from their spot at number 31 to select him.
If you're moving up, you have to find somebody who wants to move back. And that's always a hard thing. So we were calling all the way up to 18, 19, 20, trying to figure out if somebody wanted to come back to 31, which is a long fall.
The Seahawks privately informed the Broncos and the Cowboys that they were receptive to moving out of their spot at number 26.
I didn't know who it was, but I had an idea that it might be Dallas. And I knew they were trying to get up too. And so I knew we were probably talking to the same teams, and it was going to come down to compensation if we found the right team that wanted to move back.
The Broncos offered their first and third round picks, numbers 31 and 94 overall. The Cowboys offered their second and fourth round picks, number 34 and 101 overall. Dallas was willing to offer more, but never got the opportunity.
I actually thought that he would fall to us in the second round, and didn't think that Denver would move up right before us and pick him.
When we got a hold of Seattle and we got to deal with Seattle, that happened probably 2 picks before we finally got the deal done. And I think Jerry said that, for everything that he's ever overpaid for, has always been worth it.
Denver ended up giving a little more than we were willing to, which was frustrating at the time to Jerry. He thought maybe we should have given a little more on hindsight.
I regretted it. I thought, my goodness, to have given up, because we had the opportunity to make the trade, to have given up that 3 for the future quarterback is short-sighted.
As much as he was a little showing frustration with me, I think he was more critical of why he just didn't step up and say, let's do it. And I certainly would have been accepting, because how do you argue that a 4th versus a 3rd when you're going after, what could be your future? When we were sitting there talking about it after the first round was over that first night, we said maybe, on hindsight, we should have done it. We started setting our eyes on who might be next. Connor Cook was a guy who played in a pro system, and we really felt like if we got Connor, he might be more ready to go, where we wouldn't have to go out and get a backup. But obviously, Oakland took Connor right in front of us. Thank goodness all that happened, because we set up there in the 4th round.
Set up to make Mississippi State's Dak Prescott the 8th quarterback selected in the 2016 draft at number 135 overall.
Everybody says, boy, y'all are so smart to take Dak, and I know we're smart enough also to take Charles Tapper over Dak too in the top of the 4th.
What went into the decision to draft Dak?
Obviously, Dak was not drafted until our 2nd pick in the 4th round. That says everything you really need to know right there. But when we decided to make the pick, it was based upon his leadership qualities. He had Pied Piper qualities. You wanted to follow him.
Didn't want to wait, but to go to a team like that, everything works out for a reason, and couldn't have been happier.
I will say that we knew all along that if we'd wait to the second pick in the fourth draft that we had, that we'd get the Rookie of the Year in the NFL and have the future quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I had that all figured.